The cantina on Nexus Station smelled like burnt metal and alien sweat. Captain Dongmin Park sat alone at a corner table, his fingers wrapped around a glass of something that passed for whiskey in this part of the galaxy. The drink tasted terrible, but it was the closest thing to Earth alcohol he could find. Around him, dozens of different alien species talked, argued, and made deals. A group of tall, blue-skinned traders argued about shipping routes. 3 insect-like creatures clicked their mandibles while sharing information about mining operations. In the far corner, a massive bear-like alien arm wrestled with a reptilian warrior twice his size. Dongmin kept his head down and avoided eye contact. In the 3 years since he had started working as a mercenary in this sector, he had learned that drawing attention was usually a bad idea. Most aliens still saw humans as newcomers to the galaxy. Some were curious about Earth, others thought humans were weak and primitive. He preferred it that way. Let them think humans were harmless. It made his job easier. The cantina door slid open with a soft hiss, and Dongmin looked up briefly. A tall, thin alien with gray skin and 4 arms walked in. Dongmin recognized the species immediately, a Calarian. Their people had been among the first to make contact with Earth, though. That first meeting had not gone well for anyone involved. The Calarian looked around the cantina, his large black eyes scanning each table. When his gaze landed on Dongmin, he started walking over. Dongmin sighed and took another sip of his drink. "Captain Park?" The alien said in accented but clear English. "I am Ambassador Kralanox of the Galactic Council. May I sit?" Dongmin gestured to the empty chair across from him. "If you must." Kralanox sat down carefully, folding his 4 arms in what Dongmin had learned was a polite gesture among his people. "I have a business proposition for you." "I'm not interested," Dongmin said without looking up from his drink. "You have not heard what I am offering. Don't need to. I just finished a job." "I'm taking a break?" Kralanox leaned forward. "The Galactic Council will pay very well for your services." That got Dongmin's attention. The Galactic Council was the closest thing to a government that existed in this part of space. They had serious money and serious problems. "What kind of job?" "The Brutok clans have been raiding peaceful systems for 6 months. They attack merchant ships, destroy colonies, and take prisoners for their slave markets. Our conventional forces have failed to stop them." Dongmin knew about the Brutoks. They were savage warriors who lived for battle and conquest. Most civilized species feared them. "And you think one human can do what your entire military cannot?" "We have heard stories about human combat effectiveness," Kralanox said carefully. "Some of our military commanders have experience with your species' capabilities." Dongmin almost smiled at that. He could imagine which commanders Kralanox was talking about. The first contact wars had left quite an impression on several alien species. "I don't work alone," Dongmin said. "I have a team." "That is acceptable. How many people?" 3 others. "My tactical officer, my engineer, and my medical officer," Kralanox nodded. "The Council will pay standard mercenary rates, plus a bonus for each Brutok ship destroyed." "Double standard rates," Dongmin countered. "That is ... expensive. Brutoks are dangerous." "Dangerous costs extra." Before Kralanox could respond, loud laughter erupted from a nearby table. A group of alien mercenaries had been listening to their conversation. The largest one, a heavily muscled creature with red skin and sharp teeth, stood up and walked over. "Did I hear correctly?" the alien said in a voice like grinding stones. "The Council wants to hire humans to fight Brutoks?" He laughed again, and his companions joined in. Dongmin ignored them and kept looking at Kralanox. "Do we have a deal or not?" The red-skinned alien slammed his hand on their table, making the drinks jump. "I am Gorax the Destroyer. I have killed 300 enemies in personal combat. I have fought Brutoks before and lived to tell about it. What makes you think a soft little human can succeed where real warriors have failed?" "Gorax," Kralanox said carefully, "please return to your table." "No," Gorax snarled. "I want to hear what this human thinks makes him special. What battles have you fought, little man? How many enemies have you killed?" Dongmin finally looked up at the alien mercenary. Gorax was indeed impressive, nearly 7 feet tall, with natural armor plating and claws that could probably tear through steel. He had the look of someone who had seen real combat and survived it. "I stopped counting after the first war," Dongmin said quietly. This brought another round of laughter from the alien mercenaries. "Oh, so modest," Gorax mocked. "The first war? And how many kills was that? 10? 20? Dongmin touched his earpiece. "Yujin, you monitoring this?" Commander Yujin Kim's voice came through clearly from their ship. "Copy that, Captain. Want me to send Taeho with the shuttle?" "Not yet. Can you access my service records?" "Already. Pulling them up. You want the full file or just the highlights?" Krelonox looked confused. "What is happening?" "You asked about my qualifications," Dongmin said. "I'm getting you the official numbers." Yujin's voice continued through the earpiece. "Okay, I've got your Earth Defense Force records, your Colonial Marine Service, and your First Contact War files. Which conflict do you want me to start with?" "Start with the Calarian invasion." Krelonox's S4 arms tensed at the mention of his people's failed invasion attempt. Several other aliens in the cantina had gone quiet, clearly listening now. "Calarian invasion, Earth Defense Force records," Yujin announced loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Captain Dongmin Park, commanding Alpha Company, 3rd Battalion. Luna Base Defense Operation, 72 hours of continuous combat, confirmed kills, ... She paused. "Captain, are you sure you want me to read this number out loud?" The cantina had gone completely silent now. Even the background music seemed quieter. Gorax was no longer smiling. "Read it," Dongmin said. 2,847 confirmed enemy kills. That's just the Luna operation. Want me to continue with the asteroid belt campaign? Gorax took a step backward. Around the cantina, aliens were staring at Dongmin with new expressions. Some looked shocked. Others looked afraid. Krelonox's voice was barely a whisper. 2,000. In 3 days? That was just one battle, Dongmin said. And I had help from my unit. We were defending our home. He stood up slowly, noting how several nearby aliens moved away from him. So, Ambassador Krelonox, do we have a deal? Double standard rates plus bonuses? Krelonox nodded quickly. Yes, we have a deal. As Dongmin walked toward the cantina exit, he could hear whispered conversations starting up behind him. Words like human and killer and impossible drifted through the air. He sighed again. So much for keeping a low profile. The silence in the cantina lasted only a few seconds, but it felt much longer. Then everyone started talking at once. Aliens whispered to each other in dozens of different languages. Some pulled out communication devices to call friends or employers. Others simply stared at the door where Dongmin had disappeared. Gorax, the destroyer, sat back down at his table, his red face now pale pink. His companions looked at him with confusion. In their culture, 300 kills was legendary. Nearly 3,000 in 3 days was impossible to understand. Ambassador Krelonox remained at the table, staring at his datapad. The numbers from the human ship kept scrolling across the screen. Luna Base Defense was just the beginning. There were dozens of other operations listed, each with its own casualty count. This cannot be accurate, Krelonox muttered to himself. He activated his translation software and tried to call the Galactic Council database. If these numbers were real, they needed to know immediately. Back on his ship, Dongmin walked onto the bridge where his team was waiting. Commander Yujin Kim sat at the tactical station, her black hair pulled back in a tight ponytail. She was reviewing the same service records she had just read aloud. "Think you scared them enough?" she asked with a small smile. "Probably too much," Dongmin replied. "I was hoping to keep things quiet." Engineer Taeho Lee looked up from his workstation. "Too late for that. I'm monitoring local communications. Half the station is already talking about the human with the impossible kill count." Dr. So Young Choi entered the bridge carrying a medical scanner. "Dongmin, you need to eat something. Your stress levels are elevated again." "I'm fine," he said, but accepted the nutrition bar she handed him. "You're not fine. So Young said firmly. Every time someone brings up the war numbers, you get the same look. The same tension in your shoulders. Dongmin unwrapped the nutrition bar and took a bite. It tasted like cardboard, but it was better than nothing. The numbers aren't the problem. It's what people think they mean. What do you mean? Taeho asked. They hear 3,000 kills and they think I'm some kind of monster who loves killing. They don't understand that we were fighting for our lives. Every single one of those enemy soldiers was trying to kill my friends, my family, everyone. On Earth, Yujin nodded. The aliens don't fight wars the way we do. Most of their conflicts are small border disputes or honor duels between individuals. They can't imagine what it's like when your entire species is threatened. A soft chime indicated an incoming message. Taeho checked his console. It's from Ambassador Krellinox. He wants to meet with us privately. Set it up, Dongmin said. But keep it aboard our ship. I don't want another public scene. An hour later, Krellinox arrived at their ship with 2 guards. The guards remained outside while the ambassador met with Dongmin's team in their small conference room. I have been in contact with the Galactic Council, Krellinox began. They asked me to verify your military records, and, Dongmin asked, our database cannot process the full file. It keeps crashing when we try to calculate your total confirmed kills across all conflicts. Yujin pulled up a holographic display showing Dongmin's service record. The problem is that you're comparing galactic military standards to human ones. In most alien cultures, war is conducted between small professional armies. Battles involve hundreds of soldiers, maybe thousands. Human conflicts involve millions, Taeho added. When Earth was threatened, we mobilized entire populations. Every human capable of fighting did fight. Krellinox studied the display. This says you served in the Colonial Defense War, the Kellerian Invasion, the Hive Incursions, and the Battle of Seoul. How long did these conflicts last? The Colonial War was 18 months, Dongmin said. The Kellerian Invasion was 6 months. The Hive Incursions lasted 2 years. The Battle of Seoul was 3 weeks of non-stop fighting. And in each conflict you were actively engaged in combat? We all were, So Young said. I'm listed as a medical officer, but I have my own confirmed kills from defending field hospitals. Taeho was an engineer, but he fought as infantry when needed. Yujin commanded artillery units that eliminated thousands of enemy targets. Krellinox's S4 arms moved in what Dongmin recognized as a gesture of disbelief among his people. You are telling me that all humans are warriors? No, Dongmin said. We're telling you that all humans become warriors when our families are threatened. The difference is important. The ambassador activated his datapad and tried again to access the full file. This time, the device managed to stay online long enough to display a partial total, 47,329 confirmed. Enemy kills attributed directly to Dongmin Park across all conflicts. The number hung in the air like a physical presence. Even Yujin, who had seen the files before, looked uncomfortable. That number, Krellinox whispered, is larger than the entire population of some star systems. It's not a number I'm proud of, Dongmin said quietly. Each one represents someone who died because they threatened Earth. I didn't want to kill any of them. I wanted them to go home and leave us alone. But they did not. No, they didn't. Krellinox was quiet for a long moment. I must ask you something. And please understand that I mean no offense. Are all human soldiers like you? Dongmin and his team exchanged glances. Yujin answered first. Dongmin's numbers are actually below average for frontline infantry during the major conflicts. Below average? Krellinox's voice cracked slightly. He spent a lot of time in command positions, Taeho explained, coordinating operations, planning battles. Soldiers who stayed in direct combat roles often had much higher individual counts. There was a Marine named Hian Wu during the HFY War, So Young added. He held a choke point on Titan for 8 days straight. His final count was over 90,000. Krellinox's datapad fell from his hands and clattered on the table. 90,000? One human killed 90,000 Hive warriors. The Hive fought differently than other species, Dongmin explained. They attacked in waves, thousands at a time. Han Wu had good position and unlimited ammunition. He didn't stop shooting until reinforcements arrived. And this is normal for humans? Normal for humans defending their homes, Yujin corrected. We don't fight for territory or resources or honor. We fight because the alternative is extinction. Krellinox picked up his datapad with shaking hands. I need to contact the council immediately. They need to understand what they are dealing with. What do you mean? Dongmin asked. Captain Park, your species has been in galactic contact for only 5 years. In that time, you have fought 4 major wars against different alien civilizations. You have won all 4 wars despite being outnumbered and outgunned in each case. We were defending ourselves. Yes, but consider how this looks to other species. From their perspective, humans appeared in the galaxy and immediately began accumulating massive kill counts against anyone who challenged them. Dongmin felt a cold feeling in his stomach. They think we're conquerors. Some do. Others think you are the most dangerous species they have ever encountered. A few believe humans are the solution to all their military problems. And what do you think? So Young asked. Krillinox looked at each of them in turn. I think humans are the most terrifying and most necessary species in the galaxy. You scare everyone, but you only fight when attacked. That makes you the perfect peacekeepers. He stood up to leave. The council will approve your contract for the Brutok problem. But Captain Park, you should know that word of your kill count is already spreading beyond this station. By tomorrow, every military commander in the galaxy will know your name. After Krillinox left, the team sat in silence for several minutes. Well, Teho finally said, so much for keeping a low profile. News traveled fast in the galaxy, especially bad news. Within 6 hours of Dongmin's meeting with Krillinox, encrypted messages were flying between star systems. Military commanders, intelligence agencies, and mercenary guilds all wanted to know the same thing. Was the human kill count real? On the Kellerian homeworld, Admiral Vexstar sat in his private office reviewing classified files from the Earth invasion 5 years ago. The numbers in those files matched what the Galactic Council database was reporting. He remembered those battles personally. He had been a young captain then, leading a destroyer squadron against what they thought was a primitive planet. The memories still gave him nightmares. Humans didn't fight like any other species. They didn't send their best warriors to duel enemy champions. They didn't follow the traditional rules of honorable combat. Instead, they swarmed like angry insects, using every dirty trick and clever strategy they could imagine. Vexstar remembered the Battle of Luna. His fleet had surrounded the human moon base, demanding surrender. The humans had responded by turning their mining equipment into weapons, launching cargo containers full of explosives, and somehow converting their communications array into a massive electromagnetic pulse generator that disabled half his ships. When his forces finally breached the base, they found that every human inside had fought to the last breath. Scientists, engineers, even medical staff had picked up weapons and died defending their position. Captain Park had been there, coordinating the defense from a command bunker that changed location every few hours. The Admiral's hands shook slightly as he composed a message to the Kellerian High Command. The humans were active in this sector again. They needed to be very careful not to provoke another conflict. 3 star systems away, Hunter Prime Zolth received the intelligence report about human kill counts with a different reaction. The high-valued individual combat prowess above all else. Their warriors trained from birth to become perfect killing machines. The greatest Hive champions could defeat dozens of enemies in single combat, but 47,000 kills? That number was beyond anything in Hive history. Zolf had personally fought in the Earth conflicts, leading swarm attacks against human positions. She remembered how the humans had seemed to predict every Hive tactic, countering swarm charges with concentrated fire zones and turning the Hive's own aggression against them. What disturbed her most was that humans didn't seem to enjoy fighting. Hive warriors lived for battle, but humans treated it like unpleasant work that had to be done. They showed no excitement, no bloodlust, just grim determination to eliminate threats to their people. Zolf activated her communication array and sent a message to the Hive Queen. The humans were hunting again. The swarm needed to stay far away from their territory, but not everyone in the galaxy was afraid of the human reputation. In the lawless Outer Rim, Warlord Thraxus of the Brutok clans read the intelligence reports with growing excitement. The Brutoks lived for war and conquest. They measured a warrior's worth by the strength of enemies he defeated. If this human captain truly had killed nearly 50,000 enemies, then defeating him in single combat would make Thraxus the greatest warrior in galactic history. His name would be spoken with fear and respect across every star system. Thraxus was a massive creature, even by Brutok standards. He stood 9 feet tall, with natural armor plating and claws that could tear through starship hull plating. He had never lost a personal combat challenge. His clan had conquered 17 different worlds under his leadership. "Gather the war chiefs," he commanded his subordinates. "We hunt the human." Meanwhile, Dongmin's ship had left Nexus Station and was traveling toward the Brutok raiding zones. The journey would take 3 days, giving them time to prepare for the mission. But the team quickly realized they were not traveling alone. "Captain," Teho called from the sensor station, "I'm picking up multiple ships following us. They're staying at maximum sensor range, but they're definitely tracking our course." Eugene checked her tactical display. "I count at least 6 different vessels. Different designs, probably different species." "Any idea what they want?" Dongmin asked. "Nothing good," So Young said from her workstation. "I've been monitoring galactic news feeds. Your kill count has become the biggest story in civilized space. Military analysts are calling it impossible. Warrior cultures are calling it a challenge." Dongmin rubbed his temples. "Wonderful. How many different species want to kill me now?" "It's not just about killing you," Eugene said. "I intercepted some communications from a Calarian fleet. They're not hunting us. They're running away from." Running away? Think about it from their perspective. They fought us during first contact and barely survived. Now they learn that one human has a higher kill count than their entire military history. They're terrified. Teho's console beeped with an incoming message. Priority communication from the Galactic Council. "Ambassador Krelonox wants to speak with you immediately." Dongmin accepted the call. Krelonox's image appeared on the main screen, looking stressed and tired. "Captain Park, I have urgent news. Multiple alien fleets are converging on your position. Our intelligence sources report that at least 3 different species are planning to intercept you." "Who?" Dongmin asked. "The Kellarians have dispatched a full battle group, but they claim they want to escort you safely through their territory. The Hive has sent Hunter Prime Zolth with a swarm fleet. She says she wants to test her warriors against yours." "And the third group?" "Brutok clans under Warlord Thraxus. He's declared a blood hunt against you personally." So Young looked up from her medical scanner. 3 different fleets hunting one small ship? This is insane. "It gets worse," Krelonox continued. "Your reputation has spread beyond military circles. Some species see you as the ultimate weapon they can hire. Others view you as a threat that must be eliminated before you can cause more damage." "I haven't caused any damage," Dongmin protested. "I'm just trying to do a job. The galaxy doesn't see it that way. To them, humans appeared 5 years ago and immediately started accumulating impossible kill counts. Now the most deadly human in known space is active again." Eugene studied the tactical display. "Ambassador, are these fleets going to fight each other?" "Very likely. Each species wants the honor of facing Captain Park. If they encounter each other, the result will probably be a 3-way battle." Dongmin stood up and walked to the viewport. In the distance, he could see the faint lights of ships following them. "So, because people wanted to know my kill count, we've started a war." "Not yet," Krelonox said. "But the situation is very dangerous. The Council suggests you abort the mission and return to Earth space immediately." "No," Dongmin said. Firmly, "we accepted the contract. The Brutoks are still raiding innocent colonies. People are dying while these fools chase glory. Captain, you are one ship against 3 fleets. We've faced worse odds. Tejo looked up from his engineering station. Actually, we have. Remember the defense of Europa? We held off an entire hive swarm fleet for 6 hours with just our destroyer squadron. That was different, So Young said. We had support from the orbital defense platforms. We had each other, Yujin corrected. Same as now. Dongmin turned back to the communication screen. Ambassador, tell the Council we're continuing with the mission. But warn them that if these fleets attack us, we're going to defend ourselves. Captain, please reconsider. Your reputation has already changed the balance of power in this sector. If you defeat 3 alien fleets, the political consequences will be enormous. Then they shouldn't attack us, Dongmin said simply, after ending the communication. The team sat in silence for several minutes. Finally, Tejo spoke up. So we're going to fight 3 different alien fleets while also hunting down Brutok raiders? Looks that way, Dongmin replied. At the same time? Probably, Tejo grinned. Just like old times then. Yujin was already pulling up tactical plans. I'll start working on scenarios for multi-fleet engagement. So Young, make sure our medical supplies are fully stocked. Already on it, the doctor replied. As their ship continued toward Brutok space, the hunter fleets followed behind them. But now Dongmin was beginning to wonder who was really hunting whom. The ambush came in the Vortex Nebula, just as Dongmin's team had expected. The swirling clouds of gas and dust made sensor readings difficult, which was exactly why Warlord Thraxus had chosen this location. What the Brutok leader didn't expect was that the humans had been planning for this moment since leaving Nexus Station. Contact, Tejo announced from his sensor station. 12 Brutok raiders dropping out of hyperspace. They're surrounding us. Right on schedule, Yujin said calmly, her fingers dancing over the tactical controls. Thraxus is aboard the largest ship, just like we predicted. Dongmin studied the display showing enemy positions. The Brutoks had formed a perfect attack formation designed to prevent their target from escaping. It was a classic ambush pattern, one that had worked against countless other ships. He wants single combat, So Young observed from her medical station. The Brutoks always challenge enemy leaders to personal duels. That's what he thinks is going to happen, Dongmin replied. Yujin, execute plan Charlie, copy that. Tejo, reroute power from life support to shields and weapons. We won't need air recycling for the next 20 minutes. Already on it? The engineer replied. Also deploying our little surprises. The human ship suddenly changed course, diving deeper into the nebula instead of trying to escape. This confused the Brutok raiders, who had expected their prey to either run or prepare for honorable combat. Warlord Thraxus's voice boomed over the communication channel. Human Captain! I am Thraxus, Conqueror of Worlds, Slayer of Champions. I challenge you to single combat. Face me warrior to warrior and prove your legendary kill count. Dongmin activated the communication system. Warlord Thraxus, I'm going to give you one chance to leave. Take your ships and go home. You dare refuse my challenge? Are you a coward like the rest of your weak species? I'm trying to save your life, Dongmin said quietly. But if you insist on doing this the hard way, that's your choice. The Brutok ships moved closer, forming a tighter circle around the human vessel. Thraxus's flagship prepared to extend docking clamps for the ritual combat challenge. That's when everything went wrong for the Brutoks. The cargo pods that Tejo had been jettisoning as they flew through the nebula suddenly activated. Each pod contained a powerful electromagnetic pulse generator designed to overload alien ship systems. 12 explosions lit up the nebula as the hidden devices activated simultaneously. 6 Brutok ships immediately lost power and began drifting helplessly. The remaining 6 found their weapon systems disrupted and their shields fluctuating wildly. Now, Yujin commanded. The human ship spun around with surprising agility for its size, bringing all weapons to bear on the nearest Brutok raider. Concentrated laser fire punched through weakened shields and disabled the enemy vessel in seconds. Target 2, Eugene called out, already tracking the next ship, but the Brutox were not helpless. These were experienced raiders who had survived countless battles. The remaining ships scattered, using the nebula's interference to break sensor locks and regroup for a counterattack. They're adapting faster than expected, Tejo reported. 3 ships have restored partial power. Then, we adapt too, Dongmin said. So Young, deploy the medical drones? Medical drones? Dr. So Young Choi smiled as she activated a hidden weapon system. You mean the surgical laser platforms with enhanced targeting systems? What the Brutox saw next defied all their understanding of combat. Small drones launched from the human ship, but instead of carrying explosives, they were equipped with precise surgical lasers designed for delicate operations. However, when those same lasers were focused on ship hulls and weapon systems, they could cut through armor with surgical precision. The drones swarmed around the Brutox ships like angry insects, slicing through sensor arrays, weapon mounts, and engine components. Within minutes, most of the raider fleet was crippled. This is not honorable combat. Thraxus roared over the communication channel. You're right, Dongmin replied. This is human combat. We don't fight for honor, we fight to win. That's when the situation became much more complicated. New contacts appeared on the sensor display as 2 more fleets dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the nebula. Calarian battle group approaching from Sector 7, Tejo announced. Hive swarm fleet coming in from Sector 12. Perfect timing, Eugene muttered. Now we have 3 alien fleets in the same space. Admiral Vexstar's voice came over. A priority channel. Captain Park, this is Admiral Vexstar of the Calarian Imperial Navy. We claim jurisdiction over this human vessel. All other fleets will withdraw immediately. Hunter Prime Zulf's response was immediate and hostile. Calarian cowards have no claim here. The Hive demands the right to test our warriors against the legendary human killer. I was here first. Thraxus bellowed. The human is mine by right of challenge. Dongmin looked at his team. This is about to get very messy. 3-way battle incoming, Eugene confirmed, watching as the alien fleets began positioning themselves against each other. Each group wants us, but they'll have to fight through the others to get us. Can we use that? So Young asked. Definitely, Dongmin said. Tejo, plot a course through the center of their formations. Full speed. Through the middle? Are you insane? Trust me. Eugene, broadcast this message on all frequencies. Dongmin activated the ship's communication system. This is Captain Dongmin Park to all alien vessels. You want to know why humans have high kill counts? It's because we do whatever it takes to complete our mission. Right now, our mission is to stop Brutox raiders from attacking innocent colonies. You can either help us with that mission, or you can get out of our way. And if we refuse? Admiral, Vexstar demanded, then you'll learn why those kill counts are so high. The human ship accelerated directly toward the center of the 3 alien fleets. The Calarians, Hive, and Brutox found themselves in an impossible situation. To attack the humans, they would have to fire through each other's formations. They're actually doing it, Thraxus said in amazement. 1 small ship charging 3 fleets? What happened next became legend in galactic military academies. The human vessel didn't try to fight all 3 fleets at once. Instead, it used their mutual hostility against them. As Calarian ships moved to intercept the humans, Hive vessels fired on them, claiming the humans were their target. When Brutox raiders tried to block the escape route, both the Calarians and Hive attacked them. Within minutes, a massive 3-way battle erupted throughout the nebula. Hundreds of ships exchanged fire while 1 small human vessel weaved between them, somehow avoiding destruction while the alien fleets tore each other apart. Hull breach on Deck 3, Tejo reported as a stray plasma bolt scorched their shields. Patching it now, So Young replied, her medical training useful for treating ship wounds as well as human ones. Clear path ahead, Eugene announced. We're almost through their formation. Dongmin watched the tactical display as alien ships continued fighting each other behind them. Send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them we're proceeding with the original mission. The Brutok Raiders are still out there. What about this? Tejo gestured at the massive space battle raging behind them. What about it? They chose to fight each other instead of letting us do our job. That's their problem, not ours. As their ship cleared the nebula and jumped to hyperspace, the three alien fleets continued their battle. Each group blamed the others for letting the humans escape. None of them understood that the humans had never been trying to fight them at all. They had simply been trying to get to work. 2 weeks later, Dongmin sat in the same cantina on Nexus Station where this whole mess had started. But everything was different now. The other patrons gave him respectful distance instead of curious stares. When he walked to the bar, aliens moved aside without being asked. Even Gorax the Destroyer, who was nursing his drink at a corner table, avoided eye contact. The Brutok raiding problem had been solved in 3 days. Not through massive space battles or heroic duels, but through careful planning and precise strikes. Dongmin's team had tracked down the raiders' supply bases, disabled their communication networks, and captured their leadership. Most of the Brutok warriors were now in Galactic Council custody, awaiting trial for their crimes. Ambassador Krellanox approached the table, but this time he asked permission before sitting down. Captain Park, the Council would like to thank you for completing the mission despite the complications. Just doing the job we were hired for, Dongmin replied. Yes, about that. Krellanox activated his datapad. The battle in the Vortex Nebula has caused significant political changes. Admiral Vexstar has been removed from command for reckless endangerment of his fleet. Hunter Prime Zolf has been recalled to Hive Space for disciplinary action. Warlord Thraxis— What about Thraxis? Eugen asked, joining them at the table. He survived the battle, but barely. His clan has abandoned him. Apparently, losing to humans without even getting to fight them personally has destroyed his reputation among the Brutoks. Tejo and So-Young arrived with drinks for everyone. The cantina was much quieter now than it had been 2 weeks ago. Word of what happened in the nebula had spread quickly, and most mercenaries were being very careful not to provoke the human team. The interesting part, Krellanox continued, is what the galaxy learned from watching that battle. Which was? Dongmin asked. That human military doctrine is completely different from anything we understood. Our analysts have been studying the engagement recordings. You didn't try to defeat 3 fleets. You didn't even try to fight them. You simply used their aggression against each other while you continued with your mission? So-Young sipped her drink. That's how humans think about conflict. We don't fight because we enjoy it. We fight because something needs to be protected. The Calarians understand this now, Krellanox said. Admiral Vexstar sent a formal apology to Earth, he said. His people had misunderstood human intentions during first contact. They thought you were conquering species like themselves. And the Hive? Tejo asked. Hunter Prime Zolf has requested permission to study human tactical manuals. She wants to understand how you coordinate multiple units so effectively. The Hive fights as individuals, even when they attack in swarms? Eugen laughed. Individual fighters can't coordinate the way we do. We train together, plan together, trust each other completely. That's why our kill counts are so high. We're not just one soldier fighting alone, Krellanox nodded. This is what the galaxy is beginning to understand. When we heard about Captain Park's 47,000 confirmed kills, we thought he was some kind of monster. Now we realize that number represents something else entirely. What's that? Dongmin asked. Dedication. Every one of those enemy casualties was someone threatening Earth, threatening humanity's future. You didn't kill them for glory or conquest. You killed them because they were trying to destroy everything you cared about. The cantina door opened and several new aliens entered. But instead of the usual mix of traitors and mercenaries, these looked like military officers and government officials. They spotted Dongmin's table and began walking over. More job offers? So-Young asked with a sigh. Probably, Krellanox confirmed. Every major power in the galaxy wants to hire human military advisors now. They've seen what happens when humans are properly motivated. A tall, elegant alien with silver skin approached the table. Captain Park, I am Minister Yelton of the Centauri Alliance. We would like to discuss a contract. What kind of contract? Dongmin asked without looking up from his drink. Pirates have been attacking our outer colonies. Our military cannot stop them. We need someone with your expertise. My expertise is protecting innocent people from raiders and invaders, Dongmin said. If that's what you need, we can talk. If you want me to conquer your enemies or intimidate your rivals, find someone else. Minister Yelton looked confused. But surely, with your reputation, you could demand any price for any mission, Yujin answered for Dongmin. Our reputation isn't for sale. We only take jobs that match our principles. Another alien, this one with blue scales and multiple arms, stepped forward. Captain, I represent the Vegan Corporate Council. We have competitors who need to be discouraged. We will pay triple standard rates. Not interested, Dongmin said firmly. But you could make millions of credits. I could also betray everything I believe in, Dongmin replied. The answer is still no. Taeho looked around the cantina. Anyone else want to offer us morally questionable jobs while we're having drinks? Most of the aliens backed away, but one small, furry creature remained. Captain Park, I am Dr. Morvan from the refugee settlement on Kepler 7. We don't have much money, but But? Dongmin looked up for the first time. Raiders have been attacking our medical stations. We're treating civilians who escaped from war zones. The raiders think we might have valuable supplies, but we only have medicine and medical equipment. Dongmin stood up. Where's Kepler 7? 2 days' travel from here. But Captain, we truly cannot pay standard mercenary rates. Did I ask about payment? Dongmin looked at his team. Taeho, prep the ship. Yujin, plot a course to Kepler 7. So Young, inventory our medical supplies. Right away, all three responded, already moving toward the exit. Dr. Morvan looked. Shocked? You'll take the job without discussing payment? Doctor, medical stations treating refugees don't get attacked on my watch. That's not negotiable. As they prepared to leave, Krelonux called after them. Captain Park, I have one more message from the Galactic Council. What now? They want to offer you a permanent position. Director of Galactic Peacekeeping Operations. You would have command of multinational fleets and unlimited resources. Dongmin paused. What would the job involve? Preventing conflicts before they start. Protecting civilian populations, maintaining peace between species. And if I accepted? What would happen to independent missions like this one? You would probably be too busy with administrative duties to take personal contracts. Dongmin shook his head. Then no, thank you. I'm not interested in commanding fleets. I'm interested in helping people who need help. But Captain, you could. Shape galactic policy. I'm already shaping galactic policy, Dongmin said as he walked toward the exit. Every time we show the galaxy that humans fight for the right reasons, we're teaching them something important. Which is? That power should be used to protect people, not to control them. After the human team left, the cantina remained quiet. For several minutes. Finally, Minister Yelton spoke to Krelonux. I don't understand. He could have demanded any price, any terms. He has the highest kill count in galactic history. That's exactly why he didn't, Krelonux replied. Humans with high kill counts aren't motivated by money or power. They're motivated by protecting others. Dr. Morvan was still standing by the table, looking stunned. He's really coming to help us? For free? Oh yes, Krelonux said. And Doctor? When Captain Park's team arrives at Kepler 7, those raiders are going to learn why that kill count is so high. But more importantly, your refugees are going to learn that there are still people in the galaxy who fight for the right reasons. As news of Dongmin's latest mission spread through galactic communication networks, military analysts began updating their assessment of human motivations. The species with the highest kill counts in galactic history had just turned down a fortune. To help refugees for free. It was the beginning of a new understanding. Humans weren't conquering the galaxy. They were protecting it.